So we've been talking about Disney Plus. We
Huh.
talked about the Bob Iger exit that happened recently. This article actually comes from the AV Club .com. It's by Britt Hayes, and it says new Tron series among 3 shows scrapped by Disney Plus. So we got an image here. This is obviously from the last Tron movie, and it says, show of hands, how many of you signed up for Disney Plus ahead of its launch last November? Okay, now, how many of you still subscribe to Disney Plus now that the first season of The Mandalorian is over? We can't actually see you, but we'll go ahead and guess that a fair amount of you have canceled your subscriptions, and understandably so, given that Disney hasn't exactly fulfilled its initial promise. The uploading of new content, both original titles and classics from the vault, have been slow going. And of the original offerings available, only a couple have stood out, Baby Yoda's show included. All of which is to say that THR's latest report, which reveals that one of Bob Iger's new goals is to fix Disney Plus, isn't very surprising. The lengthy piece goes into behind the scenes of the streaming service newcomer, which has trouble establishing a strong identity for itself beyond the basic Disney branding. And as it turns out, a Disney product will make plenty of money, but it hasn't exactly made much in the way of good entertainment. Per THR's report, Disney Plus has more than 50 scripted shows and some 50 unscripted shows in development, which seems both wildly ambitious and potentially ill-advised. 3 original titles were scrapped, including the previously announced Muppets Live Another Day from Adam Horowitz, Eddie Kitsis, and Josh Gad, Book of Enchantment, which would have featured Disney villains, and a new Tron adaptation from American Crime's John Ridley, which wasn't made public until now. And it is probably the biggest downer of the bunch, depending upon how you feel about Tron. So this is a very interesting story and article talking about basically things at Disney Plus that have already been scrapped that we didn't even have a chance to even get a sense for what it was going to be like. I remember when they announced that Muppet, new Muppet show, I was very interested in that. Well, it looks like it's not coming, everyone. And apparently they're working on a fun Tron follow-up, and they're not going to do that either. So I am still subscribed to Disney Plus. I know my wife was watching some of the National Geographic stuff the other day. I haven't watched much on it since The Mandalorian ended. And I would have quite enjoyed this Tron show. I would like to see someone revisit the Black Hole. I mean, Disney owns so much amazing content, and I'm just kind of shocked that they're having a hard time figuring out what to do with it. That's just my humble opinion. But it's an interesting article talking about some of the troubles and the travails, and mentions the fact of something we've spoken about previously, that Bob Iger is basically sort of stepping down in order to try and go over and fix Disney Plus, because I think at the end of the day, Disney Plus will be part of his legacy, his legacy of running Disney. So, had you heard about this, Eric? That there'd been a Tron series that Disney Plus was working on, and they threw it away?
No, I hadn't specifically heard about a Tron series, but this actually touches on an article that I'd wanted to talk about, but I'm cutting for time. Where it was specifically about, what's Disney going to look like when Bob Iger really leaves, and what his legacy is going to be. And it even got into some of the kind of the infighting politics of some of the disappointment with some of the executives that didn't get the go ahead. Over was it Chapman? Chapman is the new CEO of Disney, Bob Chapman. So it's kind of interesting because the theme here is that Disney Plus has a real content problem. They have a content problem. To answer the question from the article, I do not have Disney Plus anymore. I got rid of that. Okay, I'm not subscribing to Disney Plus. Clone Wars was not enough of a grab for me. I've never really been into Clone Wars, to be honest. Although I actually liked the movie, which nobody likes the movie. I actually saw it in the theater. I actually liked it. But I don't own it. I don't. It's not part of my collection. But Disney Plus has a real content problem, and it seems these problems are getting worse. The article that I want to talk about, Obi-Wan has been postponed. They're talking about all sorts. They're talking about Hawkeye may have been postponed. Disney's not admitting that. They admitted Obi-Wan. They haven't admitted whether Hawkeye is being postponed. there are some problems going on in terms of content creation at Disney Plus right now. I don't know where the disconnect is. Well, I know where it is in Lucasfilm. I know exactly where it is in Lucasfilm. So there's a lack of leadership at Lucasfilm. That's the bottom line. However much control Kathleen Kennedy actually has, whether she's in quote unquote control or not, there's a lack of leadership at Lucasfilm, and it's showing. And they're going to hopefully not screw up Mandalorian, because Mandalorian is either wrapped or close to being wrapped for the second season. That's not going to be out until what, like November? So
well, it did get moved up, because originally there was going to be, I think, a longer wait for Mandalorian. I think they moved Mandalorian up because they realized they need something to keep people around.
Moved up to when?
So,
moved up to when?
I don't remember. I know it's going to be this year, but I think originally it was not intended to be. I think the original intention.
The last one I heard was November. That was the last. Was the last time frame that I heard.
think that's that kind of gels. But the only point I'm making is originally I think it was going to be even further out, and they actually pushed it up.
Okay, well that just shows my point.
That's what I'm saying.
Disney has a huge content problem. They're also having a branding issue. The article that I was going to talk about also talked about the new Lizzie McGuire series that's supposed to be coming out, and the fact that there's a sort of conflict about whether it's supposed to be on Disney Plus or Hulu because of this branding issue, which I don't think is rocket science. I mean, you use Disney Plus for more of the family-friendly fare. That's what Disney's always stood for, and you use Hulu for the more mature content. I said it last time. I said it last week, and I'll say it again. Disney's bundle could be a knockout punch in the streaming wars. If you have with Disney Plus, family-friendly content, with ESPN Plus, if you actually had live sporting events on that damn thing, because I will say it again, ESPN Plus sucks and is practically false advertisement. But if they actually had some live sporting stuff on there, and then you have Hulu with the more adult content, that could be a knockout punch. That could be the winning combination. And I think Iger knows it. Iger knows he's put the pieces together in acquiring these companies. He just got to get them to deliver the damn content. And that's where the problem is. There is like a content chokehold for some reason on these platforms, and I don't know why. I don't know exactly why or what's going on. Seems ridiculous to me that we did not get a Marvel series right after Mandalorian. That's the first thing I would have done. Whether it's WandaVision or the Loki or Falcon, I would have had one of those right after Mandalorian to use Baby Yoda and to build on that momentum. Instead, what they did is they gave us another season of Clone Wars. And I know there's a lot of people that love Clone Wars, but I think that's an example, going back to my Streaming Wars article. That's your little niche market. That if you're okay with a little small market, a subsection of Star Wars fans that really love and are obsessed with Clone Wars, I'm sure you can make money off of that. But that's not what Disney Plus is supposed to be. Disney Plus is supposed to be like a massive, massive tent for everyone, family-friendly content, everybody. But they have a real content problem. The legacy stuff is great, but when you've already seen that. The people that want that stuff, they've already seen it. So how many times are they going to see it again when a lot of them probably already have the DVD or the Blu-ray anyway? So I think there's a real disconnect there. They've got to get that new content going, because that's really what draws people in. And I think that's what keeps a lot of people staying. That's one thing that Netflix is doing. Netflix is constantly having new content. They've got so much damn new content on Netflix. I don't even know half of the stuff that's on there. Yeah, I think people say it all the time. Content is king, and Disney Plus has a content problem. I think it would have been neat to see this Tron series, but it should have been ready to go already. It should have been ready to go. Instead, they're canceling it before it even gets started. This should have been ready to go on, if not day one, because I think day one they did good with Mandalorian. Mandalorian did carry the streaming service, but they didn't have a follow-up. They needed a follow-up. It could have been Tron. It could have been one of these other series that we're talking about. It could be the Lizzie McGuire thing. But again, they're having a problem with branding. So I don't know.
Well, I thought this is something interesting to bring up. And Disney Plus, if you're having a hard time figuring out what to do with that classic science fiction film, The Black Hole, and you're wanting to do a streaming service show for it, let me just tell you right now, I have a great idea, and I have an amazing producer I want to work with, and we could produce a really great science fiction show that would follow up that classic film, The Black Hole, for your Disney Plus service. So I'm just going to throw my hat into the arena right there. Anyhow,
Absolutely. There you go.
so yeah, so that's all I've got for the streaming wars